Hi, beautiful souls. This is Sadhana. Welcome to my channel. This is the 11th in a series of videos about deck combinations, and I thought I would start a little differently today and just share with you the 6 decks that we're going to look at, and then ask you if you can figure out which ones I'm going to put together. The one on the left here is the Lily Black Tarot, and you've seen me use the Lily White many times. This is new to my collection and just really happy to have this here. And then on the opposite side over here is the Oracle of Reflections, also by Celia in Melesville. So I ordered these both through her website in France. And here is the Urban Tarot by Robin Scott. This is the US Games version of the deck. Cheralyn Darcey's Flowers of the Night Oracle, which is a mass market deck. I ordered that, I believe, through Amazon. Amethyst Oracle, Jessica Bott. So this is an indie deck. So today we're looking at, this is Dame Darcy's Mermaid. So we have 4 indie decks, and these 2 are available mass market now. And so my question to you is, which deck goes with which deck, and how would you pair these 3 sets up? All right, I'm shuffled and ready to go. So we're going to start with the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot and the Oracle of Reflections. And we're starting with fear. If you saw my walkthrough of the Oracle of Reflections, this is not a deck that backs off from what it is that you need to know. So it's one of those decks where be careful what you ask for. Don't ask any questions that you don't want to know the answers to. So we have, obviously, something, and look at the body language here. Very similar body language between the mermaid here and the body, the human, in the fear picture. And there's just something about the energy of the watery energy of the process of the paper that was created to make this deck, and the background, and just the way that the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot was also created. So we have this sense of sadness. There is a fear in leaving. There's a fear in moving forward. There's a fear in acknowledging that 2 cups are full. And so what is that about? Well, we didn't ask a question, and I didn't ask you to ask a question. This is a demo reading. And we have the 6 of Cups on the other side. So the 5 and 6 of Cups surrounds the object of fear. So there's a fear in letting go of something from the past. Maybe there is a relationship. Maybe you revisited, or you ran into an old boyfriend or an old girlfriend, or maybe somebody from your past has come forward, and or they are coming to visit you, which is probably more likely, and there's a tremendous amount of fear in facing that person, or something like that. Our fears are based in survival, right? The fear is based, let's go to some of the, the root chakra stuff. And if you really kind of think about what is it that, where does this ache in your body? Where and why do you really fear facing the situation or the person that is coming forth? Why can't you just let go of the past and be completely present right now? This, none of these cards represent being present. And what does it mean to be present? It means to right now, be here, focus on what's actually happening right now, and to not worry about the stories of the past, or to be worried about what's going to happen when you actually get together, whether it's for a cup of coffee or a party or whatever it is. That kind of energy. Not healthy for any of us. Oh, these cards feel so good. All right. Mountain. So in this deck, we have a few cards that are very, have a little Norman flavor to them. But of course, we don't have to go in that direction. What does the mountain represent for you? Does it represent challenges? Does it represent goals? Does it represent obstacles? So depending on what cards come up around it, I probably turned this deck upside down because everything's coming up the wrong way. We have the Empress. So there perhaps is a challenge or an obstacle with a strong woman in your life, or perhaps you as a leader are facing an obstacle or a challenge. And then we have the Ten of Wands. So that works really well together. So if you were able to delegate a little bit, and I'm going, because the Empress is a leader, sometimes she forgets to delegate. And we forget why we became a leader, and that is that we have the power, we have the authority, we have the experience of working with other people, and we need to allow other people to help us and to share within our projects. We don't have to do everything by ourselves. So this may very well be a mountain that you have created out of a molehill. You just need to release some of these ores and pass on some of the projects to other people. Yeah. Okay. And last one for this one, we have the stairs. So we are moving up, or are we moving down? What do the stairs represent? It is a spiral staircase, quite difficult to navigate. There's definitely a transition between the lower half and the upper half. And the reading that we're doing is left and right. So this card would work really well in a 9-card reading where you had a card up on the top and a card down on the bottom. But let's see what we get here. And because these are upside down, I will go this way. Okay, so Page of Wands is facing away from whatever these stairs represent. So the Page of Wands, which is a card of, youth and vitality and new beginnings and opportunities, is facing away from the stairs. Or the path. Perhaps the stairs represent a path or a difficult challenge. So this is actually quite a positive reading in that regard. So if you have been in any kind of a Five of Pentacles, restrictive kind of an energy, then the invitation for you is to kind of find your fire. Find your fire. This is very much turning 180 degrees. If we look here at the weather even, look at the weather of the winter and the snow, and here we have the sun and the fire. So it's about turning 180 degrees, and that might be a little bit out of your comfort zone, because usually when we are in this kind of a situation, it may be because out of fear that we have stuck with something a little bit longer than we should have. Or we knew some time ago that we really should leave the situation, or we should have asked for help, or we should have done something differently, but now we feel like we've dug ourselves in so deep that we can't step forward. So now at this point, turning around 180 degrees, kind of if we turn this card on its side, if we turn around 180 degrees from this kind of murkiness of the bottom here to the lightness of the top, it's going to take a great deal of courage and fortitude. And we might have to change our diet. We might have to change our job. We might have to change our location. We might have to do something we weren't expecting to do. This is about new beginnings. And so you need to kind of embrace that and to find out what it is that is going to work for you in this moment, in this time. All right. Oh. All right. I love doing these. I love doing these videos. The next one we're going to have a look at, I'll just pull it through here, is the Urban Tarot. I have watched two videos. Tom Benjamin did a video on divesting decks. This is one of the decks that he put in his giveaway pile. And I know that Katie Flowers, this deck is so large, it's very hard to ribbon shuffle, did a similar video. And in her giveaway pile, she also had the Urban Tarot. I have not had this deck for a long time. This is the US Games version of the deck, so it hasn't been out that long. I have no intention of giving this away. I think that the court cards are really well done in this deck, and this deck gives you an opportunity to, again, it would actually pair very well with this deck. It might be too much, but this does tend to look at a lot of the shadow aspects of of many of the cards in the tarot. So what are we going to pair with this? Of those 6 decks you saw at the beginning of the video, so what's left? We can put Oracle of Reflections, which would work, but I think it would be a little too heavy. And the other Oracle deck I had out was Flowers of the Night and the Amethyst Oracle. Sorry, I was doing a brain fart here. So those were the 2 that I had out. But of course, we're going to use Amethyst Oracle. If you have not looked at Jessica Bott's Instagram page, she does not have a little white book with this deck, but on her Instagram page, she goes through every single one of the cards in this deck, and she gives she gives her sometimes quite sarcastic interpretation of the symbol that's on the top, as well as what's going on in the picture. So most of the symbols at the top are legitimate symbols. Some of them she has made up. Some are runes, some are scientific, and some are symbols that mathematic. Some are symbols that we use every single day. And there is some connection between that symbol and what is going on in the illustration. Also, playing with these 2 decks, I've noticed there's a lot of purple in both decks, which is not something that I had planned. It's not really why I chose them to go together. I felt that the sarcastic attitude, the realistic drawings here, the vector drawings just fit really, really well with the Urban Tarot. So what we're looking at here is 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords. So in the Thoth, so this is a Thoth-based deck. And in Robin's guidebook, she does bring in other interpretations as well. So you really kind of need to look at the illustration. You need to look at the energy of the drawing. But these 6 swords are piercing through a heart. And this snake is wrapped around the center sword and moving up. So we have this like Kundalini energy, and we have something really tremendous potential emerging here. And over here we have the Hermit. So to me, it looks as though from the experience of the Hermit, so whatever you gleaned from your time alone, whatever you gleaned from your time away, is coming forth. Like this is, you are moving on, you're moving forward. And if you haven't quite figured it out, if you haven't quite dialed it in, the potential is just absolutely enormous. So do your research, keep working on it. If you need to call in other people to help you with this, all the better. And ooh, so we have precarious. So there's some sense of danger. We have the danger symbol here. We have the rock about to fall off. So there's some preparation that hasn't been followed through yet. So you had an idea. You kind of got some insight into, you know, obviously you went away. You took some time alone by yourself to try to figure out how this is going to come to pass. But there's still some things you need to work through, but don't lose hope because the potential here is so enormous. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands, which is always a great card, right? New opportunities, new beginnings, relationship. So this one is going to be about a relationship. And so if the question was about the relationship, the answer is yes. It's a yes answer. If you are looking to partner up, of course, with somebody on a project for work or anything, the answer is yes. However, we have this negative card in the center here. And there's something that needs to... So destruction is the opposite of this card right here, right? So this is a new beginning. This is representing an ending. This is okay. Sorry, I'm going to go with the mushrooms. So And this is something she talked about in her Instagram page. The mushrooms, the morel mushrooms grow, they come forth from after the forest fire, they emerge from in the forest floor. So this is about the new beginnings. Okay. When I do these readings, it's really easy to get caught up in 1, 2, 3. And especially here we have 1, 2. This almost looks like a 3. 1, 2, 3. But as I've said before, it's really important to kind of weave the whole story together, because it doesn't make sense that this card is in between these two cards, right? So there definitely is something emerging, and maybe, oh, okay, we had a forest fire. Duh. Here we have the energy of the fire, and so these two cards kind of are interwoven together. So think of this energy as one energy, and this Ace of Wands as this morel mushroom coming forth and coming up. And we would not have been ready to be at this space of the Ace of Wands if we hadn't really cleared everything up. So it looks like you have blasted through some really heavy stuff. And if there's anything lingering that you haven't swept away, if you haven't swept those ashes away, if you haven't burned those old love letters, if there's something that you haven't let go of, make sure you let go of it, because you are ready, full force to dive into this relationship, right? We all know what this Ace of Wands can also represent. So yeah. So take your time with these readings and allow the cards to talk to each other, because sometimes you'll get caught up, just like I did, in this, ooh, why is the destruction card in between these two really positive cards? You need to pause and just take a few breaths. This is a really great, remember I was talking about in the Panda deck? Oh, that was another video, sorry. In the Panda video, when I did the walkthrough, I was talking about how I couldn't get any idea of swiftness because the panda was just standing there not moving, and how pandas don't move anyway. But I love this. I love this is a courier, a pizza delivery guy with his bicycle, and the wands are here. And then over here, we have death. So what is this about? Of course, we have an end of a cycle. We have a major card. And we are moving, what? Are we running away? Are we moving quickly away from? Are we avoiding processing what this ending is? What is that all about? Ooh, okay. So here we have kind of a contradiction of energy. This card is about taking a breath. This is the rest bar in music. So this makes perfect sense. When we go through an ending, just like when we go through the death of a loved one, it's really important. The whole vigil process, the whole experience of, even if you don't have a massive celebration of life, it's important to take some time to mourn and to be with the experience of grief. And when we let go of something else, be it the death of a business, the death of a home, the death of anything else, there's a time and there's a place to really, there's a need to create space and to be in silence and retreat. So to me, this feels like what you want to do. This feels like what you don't want to do. And so the advice is to be aware of that. And if this is super, super uncomfortable and this is kind of what you want to do and where you want to go, just know that it might feel right. This might be your medicine at this time, but it's not going to serve you in the long term. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so yeah, that's the third one with this deck. So we'll leave that. And then we'll go to Sadhana's favorite deck, which is Lily. Well, Lily White, but here we have Lily Black. So this one comes, I don't know if I did a walkthrough of the black deck. Oh, yes, I did. I did a side-by-side. So the same box. I don't think I showed the box. This one has a ribbon. And these cards are so beautiful. Actually, a lot of these cards I've shown you today are just so sweet, as far as texture and production and all of that. Yeah. So you know what the third pair is? So Lily White and Flowers of the Night, which is a pair that I talked about. I told you I really wanted to get this deck because I just knew it would work really well with the Flowers of the Night Oracle. I've shown Cheralyn Darcey's deck before. It is just stunning. Unfortunately, the paper is shiny, but there's nothing we can do. And I've used this deck a bit, so there's quite a few thumbprints on it. I hope those don't show up when we're on the camera. The Lily Black, when I purchased it, my thought was that it was about looking at things in the night light, in the night sky, looking at things from the perspective of the moonlight, looking at things in the night. And that's kind of what I had in mind when I purchased the Lily Black. But since I have been using it and shuffling it, I see it has some other layers other than just being a moon deck. So if you're looking for a moon deck, yes, it's definitely going to work as a moon deck. It'll work really, really well doing those kind of readings where you're either doing an astrology reading or you are doing shadow work. But if you are looking for diversity, you could also use it in that regard because it is the faces and the skin tones look completely different in the Lily Black than the Lily White. And I had another idea. Maybe it'll come to me when we go through this. Okay, so Influence, Spiny Star. This feels really, really optimistic, and I'm not quite sure what we've got here. We have the Three of Wands, so there's definitely this energy of moving forward. But my question is, when I kind of see these two cards together, is what is it we need to focus on so that we can step forward to the next level? In the Lily Black, we have such a different perspective than in the Lily White, and I see things every single, I mean, it's fairly new to me, but every single time, like I never noticed this seawater, which looks like seawater to me, splashing up here. And how is this? So like, it's like we're entering into a castle or something. Whoa. So these are both about portals, about stepping forward, and a tremendous amount of optimism. So if you were wondering if you should move forward, if you're ready, the answer is yes, you're definitely ready. But if I was doing a larger reading, I'd want to know more about the influence and pull a couple of cards to see what this influence is about, because you might need a little bit of a kick in the pants to go forward with that. Because this is a Six of Swords, so you might be hanging on to some residual, more negative energy from some kind of experience you've had that was more challenging. So that's what I would do in a larger reading, is to pull a couple cards to kind of see what that influence was about. All right, Opportunity, Night Blooming Jasmine. Ace of Wands. So perfect, right? Ace of Wands. Oh, we could leave that one there. All three of these pairings today have done really, really well. And look at that. We've got the Fool. So again, this is a very ripe moment for you. You are so ready to step forward. And like I've said before, there's been a lot of this kind of message today through all of these readings that we've done. And that is one of really believing in yourself. And if there has been any self-doubt, it's all in your mind, and you are at this place, this point in your life where if you don't take a bit of a risk, if you aren't ready to jump off the cliff, then like it feels fleeting. Like if you don't do this now, the opportunity, you need to seize this opportunity because it's not going to come back again. Wow. How did we pull those 3 cards? Like, how does that happen? It's so amazing. Okay, pleasure, belle de nuit. This, to me, is about the positive side of the second chakra, the optimistic side of the second chakra, right? Where we finally learn to get out of our compulsions and our addictions and to really just be joyful and to understand that, oh, we have the right to experience pleasure and to be happy. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, I just have to laugh because, right? So this is the opposite of this. And we can, if we look to the positive side of the devil card, which is, and I've said this before also, that is like represented in a lot of the Celtic decks. We need to allow ourselves to feel sexual, to feel joyful, to feel, to allow the pleasures and those beautiful energies that bring us joyfulness to move through us. We don't need to be so judgy and to be so, we don't need to restrict ourselves in that way. And we don't need to suppress those things that we are feeling. Because what happens, the negative side of the devil card is a result of all of that darn suppression. And why are you suppressing it? Are you worried what other people think? Are you, what's happened to bring you to that point? And maybe this card will give us an answer to that question. Oh, so we have a knight here. We have the knight. Oh my God. This is about sex. This is about go have sex. That's what this is about. Because we have the Knight of Wands here. So if it's not sex, this is about really allowing yourself to have some fun. Seriously, go have some fun. All right, I think that's a perfect note to wind up this this video on. And whatever your pleasure is, I want you to go and enjoy it this afternoon, tonight, this morning, whatever point you're reading this video, and just really laugh and embrace it and feel good. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.